report. Roll call, please.
Mayor Anderson.
Here.
Troy Boone.
Here.
Gerald Delaney. Troy Doden.
Here.
Art Schott.
Here.
Teresa Swagan. Here. And Mike Tiedemann.
Here. 2 items on the agenda. We're going to postpone resolution 2021-02 and 2021-03. Any changes to the agenda? Oh, adding Art Schott under number 6 for a report. Motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion by Tiedemann, seconded to adopt the agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. Is there a motion to approve the December 21st minutes?
We'll move to adopt the 21st, not the 29th, just the 21st.
Second.
Motion by Boone, seconded to approve the December 21st minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Is there a motion to approve the December 29th, 2020 meeting minutes?
Should I approve 29 minutes?
Motion by Schott and seconded to approve the December 29th minutes, 2020 minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's approved. Public hearing, 1-day malt beverage license for Beresford Volunteer Fire Department. Did we approve that today?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You have to,
Yeah, pretty much.
Should I make a motion 1-day malt beverage license for Beresford Volunteer Fire Department, January 30th, 2021 at Fire Station 301 North 10th Street, Beresford, South Dakota.
One second.
motion by Schott and seconded to approve a 1-day malt beverage license for the Beresford Volunteer Fire Department, January 30th, 2021 at the fire station. Any further discussion?
The zip code included in that motion?
Any more relevant discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Visitors to be heard. Chief Onyx.
Present. I got the year-end report for 2020. I believe you all have a copy there. If you had a chance to go over it or not. Basically, it's typical years. The past few have been in that there. We had a total of 127 calls. Of those there, 55 were in the city. The rest were rural calls. And the estimated loss, 240,000. Value, 1,150,000. And that's commonplace for the last 5 years at least. The numbers of percentages and values and so forth. The hours, the time that the men put in volunteering for calls and training, meetings, etc. Total 4,995. And with a loaded labor value of $424,575, which equals out to $85 an hour, which would be plus benefit, loaded labor. So. And this is, we usually run somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 hours with a 40-man crew and so forth. So that's pretty irrelevant too. No serious injuries or any major loss to personnel or equipment. We did pay off a debt of $39,608 in 2020. That was for a rural truck purchase. In bunker gear, we've been replacing that for the last 3 years. And with this year, we'll have that project completed. I think we have 11 sets on order for 2020 or 2021. And once they arrive, we'll have that project total replacement of all the gear updated. It is staggered for a few years, which is good because then it all doesn't expire on the same date. That was a problem we had before. We bought it under a FEMA grant and we replaced everything and everything expired at the same time. So if we would have, moved that along to where we would have bought so many sets, but we took advantage of the FEMA grant. That was a lump sum. That was a 90%. We got $100,000 for $10,000, and it was just made sense to do it, and so forth. So now we got it spread out for a few years. As we get new members on and so forth, we'll try to buy 3 to 5 sets a year. And eventually, we'll get it into a budget line item where every year we'll buy a set or two. They're about $2,000 a set for what we're replacing the coat and pants. This is per NFPA timelines and so forth. One other thing that we did and currently still doing, we're replacing all the 110 volt electrical tools and equipment that requires a generator. And now we're replacing those tools and stuff. Most of them are up for replacement anyway. We're battery powered. And so since when we're out on a call, we're using these tools 10, 15, 20 minutes. We're not using them for a couple, 2 or 3 hours. And now the battery life, the brand that we went with is Milwaukee. And DeWalt, it was a toss-up between those two. Mainly because they don't change their batteries. If you gotta buy a tool today, knock on wood, and they're not lying, it's gonna be good for 20 years. That you can still get that same deal. So what we're doing is we got probably 6 and maybe shoot for 10 spare batteries. These sit in chargers on the vehicles. So when we need a certain tool, you grab the tool, grab a spare battery, you're good for 30 minutes, maybe longer, and the tools work just as well as the old plug-in. What's nice about it, you don't have the cord tangled up with stuff, and that there. And tools, the ones that we're buying have a minimum of 5 years warranty, some of them up to 15. So a lot of departments have went to this here rather than buying the 110 volt tools. And these are drills, cut-off saws, rotary saws, stuff like that there. We're still maintaining a Class 5 ISO rating. I don't see any reason for that to change in the near future, except to turn to a 4 or get better. We're at the point that we can apply now for ISO to come in and re-rate the city next summer and that there. I don't know if there's any water projects coming up the next year, but when they did the Highway 46, that's where we made her jump from a 7 to a 5, because we had all that water main all go to 8 inch in that there. We also, the fire department's about 50–60% of their rating, and the rest is the water system, dispatch, and things that go along with it that there. We're not too far from becoming a 4. If we had another big water project that would go past a lot of this 4-inch stuff, we'd have a 4 for sure. Maybe even looking at a 3. So we're sitting real good there. Probably next summer we'll look at maybe have an ISO come in, do a reevaluation, and see if we picked up enough points to cross into that 4. Where it makes a big difference is on insurance premiums and policies. Business more so than residential is that every class you drops that premium about 10%. So we went from a 7 to a 5. If any of you guys have a business insurance, check to make sure you got the credit. But I had Mark Jensen out here when we were looking at doing this here, and he verified that the residential side might only be a few $100s, but on the commercial side where premium is perhaps 20,000, a small end, that would roll down into around 15 or 16,000. And it has, as far as I can find out from Mark and that there. We have some places out here, I'm sure, that have $100,000 premium a year, and that there they would see a great difference. And historically, that's when people bring factories and stuff to town, first thing you want to know what your ISO rating is. There's been cases where a huge, well, I'm going to use Gateway in Sioux City. This was years ago. When they come in, the fire department could not even come close to the rating that they had at that time. That was an 8. They bought them new equipment. They spent $1 million to upgrade the fire department so they could save $100,000 on insurance. But after 10 years, they had that money back. Now, if that's true today, I don't know. This was back, about 1970 something, 80 something. But I know in about 3 years, they got new equipment, new fire station, everything. It was all Gateway. And IBP at that time too was involved in that there. So the ISO, it's good. It's good to have the lowest rating that you can have when it comes to drug businesses in here and that there. On the rural side, we're tax funded through mill levies. Union County and Clay County, me and Jerry worked on this for a while, and Clay County and Union County have been adding, would say a percentage, or we're getting more money out of those 2 counties than what we had in the past. In Lincoln County is where just about half of our rural area is. We're getting the same money as we did 15 years ago. And I play with them every year. I'll never hear a word from them. And that there. The rest of the department, there's 10 fire departments in Lincoln County. I don't know, I pushed as hard as I could on them to go in jointly and that there. Because even $5,000 or $10,000 a year buys a lot of stuff when it's an increase. I think, do you remember, Jerry, what we get from Lincoln County?
So there's about 8,000 to 9,000.
8,000 to 9,000. In Union Counny, we get twice as much.
Double that.
Clay County close to that. Clay County is our smallest. We have just under 400 square miles of rural, and Lincoln and Union are about the same. Union, of course, is the city of Beresford, where we have 2/3 or more in Union County, and of course the smaller part's Lincoln. But here again, these other two counties, are adjusting their tax rate and that there to comprehend, to get more money out to them. And it's not only us, it's every fire department in the county. But when this was set up, here again years ago, we had county fire districts, and it's not like the districts we have today. The fire departments formed an organization. We went into the county commissioners and asked for money that was a fixed amount. So they went to a bill levy. I think at that time it was like 6/10 of the bill. Does that sound right? In that there, Benton County's never changed that. It's the same. The other two counties are, like I said, double at least, maybe triple from when we started. But that's something, on the rural side that we're working on. COVID-19 issues. We've had a few members that have come down with the virus and that they all got over it very well. Every call we go on, we have the PPE for that in the trucks and that there. We did, I think, 31 calls with the ambulance. They're more intense, like patient contact. We got 22 members that are also on the ambulance. So we usually get there maybe ahead of the ambulance, but we usually always have the EMTs in that there. So if we have to make patient contact, those are the ones that are selected, and they put on the necessary PPE to be able to assess a person. Where this probably becomes a little more dangerous is when we're called to a fire or an accident. In town, you go to somebody's house, you pretty much know their history or this and that. We go out to a call like we had this morning. I have no idea who the guy is. He's bleeding, he's coughing, I mean, the first thing we do is, try to get a mask on him and this and that until the EMTs arrive with the ambulance. So that's probably a higher risk for us because we're not doing it every day, but the ambulance people are in that there. I don't know what their numbers are for active cases or whatever. We're still pretty low in that there area. And no plans to change anytime soon from what we're doing already. Any questions on what you got there before you? If not, I just got a couple other minor things.
I just got that culvert that you mentioned. Does the federal government pay anything for volunteers? Like,
No.
if they're gone 14 days, they don't go to work, they don't get paid nothing?
So, they'll give you a good deal on masks and stuff like that. And no, there's no funding or anything that I'm aware of or I've been notified of as far as unemployment.
Did they have anything updated, any kind of PPE or equipment?
No, we're pretty much, just like I said, we got the masks, the gowns, but only a few face shields. But we always had that stuff, but now we're using it. So like masks, 50 in a box probably lasts us 2 years, 3 years. Now they last about a month. So,
Gloves.
but yeah, gloves. We get a lot of that stuff from Homeland Security and emergency management. Something nice about being in 3 counties, we got 3 places for resources and so forth. So the equipment and PPE at this time is not a problem. I mean, we haven't spent, I don't know if we spent any of our money. I know I can usually find it out there someplace, and the next day it's at the station. So
Okay, one other question.
Sure.
Remember I think we talked about this the last 2 years, about the radio updates and stuff.
Yeah.
How's that coming?
Okay, I just got an email today. Their date to have everything done is fall of 2022. So now they're going to start pushing it. Now, I can't remember if you guys, since all of our radio equipment, our major radio equipment can be upgraded to P25. It costs around 500 to 800 a radio, but the radios are 20 years old, or approaching 20 years. So if you update one or you just buy a new replacement for about 1,200 to 1,800. Supposedly the last 2 times we upgraded radios, the state had a matching program in which the first ones was on 90-10, if I remember right. So we replaced the city, the fire department, ambulance, police, did them all. And I think the cost was $10,000–15,000. This last time, the first radio sets were not reliable. So Mr. Janklow was the governor, and he says, you all get new radios, and we're going to find a way to pay for it. So the radios we got today didn't cost us any money. You know, so basically, unless we buy one, we, add a vehicle or portables. Actually what the state does, and if I'm reading this email right, they want them back if we're not using them. I suppose, like the reservations and outlying areas, they have a use where they don't have a lot of radio traffic. They can probably rebuild some of this stuff and so forth. So, and I don't know if police chief has, he might have more information as far as cost sharing and so forth. It's a trickle down thing. Law enforcement in the state is number 1, then it comes down to EMS, fire, utility services and so forth. So Mike might have more information in that there, but I do, I got a phone number to call now and a name, which I'll be doing tomorrow. I just got this a half hour ago. And that'll be my first question this morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any questions?
Okay, there you go. One other thing, this is just information. We're going to, since it's winter time and so forth, we got a bunch of maintenance items at the fire station. It's mostly cleanup stuff. We've been in there for a long time, and it needs a thorough cleaning. And since it's all metal and everything, we're probably going to look at power washing stuff. We got a lot of alarm equipment that'll all have to be covered, but we have nothing but time the next 3 months or whatever. There is a carpet issue in the meeting room. The last time it was cleaned, they thought there was a mold issue. There's some separation in the kitchen area. That's vinyl. We got some lighting that we replaced out on the floor. But we didn't do anything in the meeting room. Little things here. None of it except for the flooring is going to cost a whole lot. And I know we didn't add anything in the budget for other stuff, but it may be a line item put in the next year's budget, because it's nothing that has to be done right now, except a good thorough cleaning and so forth. So we may have some requests to do a couple changes down there if it's warranted or whatever, but there's no big dollar amounts.
What's an estimate on the carpet and the flooring?
I don't know, I haven't got that yet.
We're going to bring it to the council, discuss it. We're not going to okay it right away.
No.
We can review it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and that's usually what they do is they work with jury and we find, the bid laws and stuff and, we like to do things locally if all possible, and so forth.
Well, I think if we put new structure, it probably lasts a lot longer than cleaning. If it's falling apart, if we can get 5 years or something out of it, there might be a better way to do it.
Yeah, well, that's what, we're concerned with an echo. That's why we're on carpet. But carpet, it's tough because our guys come in and out, from a fire call and that there, they don't always take their boots off. in that there. So the only other thing, and I got it in the report here, is the replacement of the city pumper. And I know, it's a financial issue and so forth, but it is, we're using it. And I'm not afraid to take it on any calls or anything, but it's 32 years old. So, that is an issue that someday's got to be resolved, however it works out. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Committee reports. Art, I'd like to talk about dog park.
I did text Lou the other day. I did meet with him over the weekend on person, and we talked over about the fence, maybe some water, 2 spots, maybe. He's gonna go on vacation for a couple of weeks in February, but he's gonna stop by about 10 other places that have dog parks. So we're gonna get together at the end of February, beginning of March, with some other ideas. He said he's willing to dig the holes. He's got a transit and a couple things, so I told him we gotta get some numbers together, so it's probably gonna be in March. Thank you.
Department head, Wayne Johnson, finance report.
So, at the end, on December 30th, the South Dakota CARES funding was done and we were not able to, apply for any reimbursement from that after that point. So we do have the opportunity with council approval to participate in the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And if Teresa and Attorney Freeberg want to jump in on this, so we would be able to extend what we were doing prior until March 31st with the 80 hours. The 80 hours would be reset for anyone who comes down with the virus or has to be quarantined. I think everyone's kind of familiar with it. And then we could use tax credits to be reimbursed.
So you want to make a motion? Shall I make a motion to extend pay for Families First FMLA and covert pay discussion as Elaine discussed. Until March 31st, 2021.
That's on the federal one. So I guess that.
Motion by Shot and seconded to approve extending pay for families first FMLA and COVID pay. Any further discussion?
Tom, I just wanted to verify, I guess my thoughts were we've only used state money to this point, so we were fine to use federal money for this first quarter. Is that
Correct.
okay?
It's the CARES Act money that came through the state, yeah.
Right.
We have not used any federal money for COVID at all.
That's why I guess after our discussion, I said that we could reset it. Each employee would have up to 80 hours for themselves and then a certain amount if they have to take off for a child.
And we currently have 2 employees that are out positive right now.
And then it's a lesser rate if they're home for caring for a child or something. It's a 2/3 pay, but it's a direct tax credit. So the government picks up the tab for you.
You don't get taxed on that, right, Tom?
Yes. The employee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taxable wages.
Is it?
Well, we pay them as normal, then we apply for a credit on the back end.
Okay.
We get a tax credit when you do the payment deposits with the IRS.
So, do we need to, have you heard of anything coming after March 31st?
Not unless you guys have, but I have not. It's just gonna end on March 31st. It's gonna be done.
Spring's gonna hit, everybody's
Right.
gonna go outside.
Yes, it's gonna be all good.
And it's gonna get significantly
Yeah.
better.
It's gonna be done.
There
Or
might be
everybody's.
people vaccinated by then too.
There'll be a lot more vaccination with it.
We'll have herd immunity by then.
I think South Dakota's getting close to that anyway.
Thank you for your time on that.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. December 2020 financial report.
So at your place sitting there is the December 2020 financial report. It is not the final. I threw this together over the weekend with as much to my knowledge, so it still needs to be reconciled. In December, we paid out to Fiber to the Home project $112,633. And then we paid out for the East Substation project $494,271.30. Also in December, we paid the 2020-2021 insurance renewal to Jensen Agency, which was $123,397, which took a hit, mainly on the liquor store and golf course. Also, we had made payments to the Series 2012 Geo Bond, which is the Lewis and Clark, the Clean Water and Drinking Water SRF loans, and the 2012A COP for the golf course. So all of those loan payments came to $287,565. We also received a nice surprise from Missouri River Energy Services, where they refunded us 10% of our power supply from August 2018 to July of 2020. So we received a deposit of $132,661. Very nice. So I don't want an approval for the minutes, just because they're not final.
You said something about insurance. We pay that for a whole year,
Mhm.
up front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we get a substantial discount by paying it all up front.
I guess we just have always paid it up front instead of made payments.
But we don't get a discount for that. So the insurance company gets to use our money for the whole year with no benefit to it. Right? Okay.
That sounds correct.
Yeah.
Usually we go through it in September with them, go through and make sure we got everything covered, all of our properties are covered. And we've never gotten an option to pay anything other than full, so we've never asked for it, never given the option.
Would the rate change if it was quarterly instead of annual?
If they have not asked, we'd have to ask.
I mean, we might as well use the money and let it sit. Maybe we only get 0.25%, but it's 0.25% more than we're getting by giving it to them a year ahead of time. If there's no benefit, why do it?
I'll ask them back tomorrow.
Maybe the rate would change. Maybe the rate they give us is reflective of the single annual payment. Could be.
Would be good to know.
It'd be a good idea. Yeah, just curious.
In 2020, some of the extra out of the ordinary liquor store expenses were when we paid out vacation to D. Ackland. We purchased the point of sale system and the monthly subscription. Extra COVID expenses, the surveillance system was $2,415. We repaired the liquor store sign outside, the lights stopped working. Replaced the footstool. We invested in the Toast point of sale system, and that was $2,800. And then at the bridges, some of the extra expenses, the golf course itself, the pump house has never run as much as it did this year. And so the electric budget went over by $5,600. Greg said that he's never seen it used this much, ever.
It's been raining since July.
He said July and October it did not shut off. There was extra COVID expenses on the golf course side, along with the clubhouse event center. We invested in a new furnace and air conditioner for the clubhouse. That was $14,400. We invested in new carpet and a dance floor, plus installation. That was $7,700. The clubhouse got a new ice machine, which was $3,200. And then with the burglary expenses of replenishing the cash and yeah, that was burglary was mainly the the cash reimbursed. But those are some of the highlights of the year.
The other thing to note there, Elaine, too, is that at the liquor store, we had 9 weeks that we did not do any on sale. We're doing on sale only, starting mid of March and last week in May, I think, when we opened up the bar again. And similar at the bridges, we operated at a reduced capacity, and we still are from March. Basically, since we opened up out there, we've been at a reduced capacity. So, and we didn't there for quite some time. We never even allowed anyone to come into the bar area other than you can come in, check in, get what you need, and then take off. So those have definitely had an impact on not only them but other businesses in town. So I don't think it's too unusual that when you operate at a reduced capacity, you're probably going to see less revenue than what you had forecast. But as it turns out there, I think our revenue turned out real good.
Mm-hmm.
People were spending quite a bit more time on the course itself. So in that sense, we did a good job there.
Is there revenue at the liquor store this year over last year? You have that?
I can get it.
It's not that important. Maybe for the next meeting.
Well, I'm thinking if we didn't have those extra expenses, we'd be sitting at the same as what we did last year.
Last year we didn't make money, did we?
15,000.
But she spent it all in December and we made very little.
I can look.
I thought we just made a few thousand, but.
It's like 300.
Last year, the liquor store made 11,800.
Was that before or after? I thought we spent it all at the end of the year. We're
I
down
thought
like
so,
$300
too.
something dollars.
It's always spent it.
According to the audit report, we made 11,000. So, unless we transferred it somewhere.
But I would say for the way we took a beat down in 2020 and both of them, it probably came out of that.
Yeah.
I will try my best to get everything reconciled by the next meeting.
I just got one question on the golf course. On our insurance policy, they don't cover no cash.
It did. Mm-hmm. But we still have the
Repairs
expense.
and stuff they fixed.
We still have to pay the deductible.
Mm-hmm.
We got a high deductible.
500.
Oh, but then they need to pay for some of the repairs, right? All right, thank you. Thank you.
Another comment I guess I just want to throw out there for you guys to start thinking about, and I know we tabled the whole transfers and stuff, but our general fund is doing exceptionally well this year because we got 297,000 of COVID money. None of the enterprise funds got COVID money to cover their COVID costs. So I guess I would think maybe we should think about reducing those transfers to general fund, letting those departments keep it. Just something to think about for.
Which ones you talking about, not transferring, like the phone, the internet, the water?
We actually got $370,433.20 in COVID reimbursement.
Or we only transfer out of the water, or the telephone, and the electric, and some of the liquor, and some of the garbage. So those are the 4 enterprise accounts that we transfer. We don't take anything out of the water or sewer, cable TV. So.
Okay, well, I think,
Well, I mean, I
No,
think
it's okay.
once we know financial,
Right.
the true financials, maybe you can come with a suggestion on what, if we can reduce those transfers. I know the telephone department obviously has a huge loss because we decided to fund the entire project on our own
Right,
versus
right.
financing. The electric department's gonna need as much cash as they can to start paying back their debt in future. So, and the liquor store, obviously, it didn't make what we were hoping. Well, I guess budgeted, we did budget 3,700, so we're just under budget by $1,000, but just something that I wanted to throw out there, you know,
No,
if
that's
the
a good
general fund
idea.
doesn't
We should
necessarily
toss out
need
some
the
numbers.
cash, then,
bring up some numbers with the electric and
well, once we know that.
the phone, and just to toss it around with you guys.
We'll have those next meeting.
I hope to.
Thank you.
Any questions? No old business, moving to new business. Declare the legal newspaper for the city of Beresford, the Beresford Republic. Is there a motion?
Shall I make a motion for legal newspaper for city of Beresford Republic?
Move in second.
Motion by Schott and seconded. Declare the legal newspaper for the city of Beresford, the Beresford Republic. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one, can we do them all at once, or do they have to be separated? Request to declare efficient depositories for the city of Beresford as First Savings Bank, First Dakota National Bank, U.S. Bank, and South Dakota Public Funds Investment Trust. Is there a motion?
Doden, so moved.
Second.
Motion by Doden and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Set election date of April 13th to coincide with the Beresford School as a joint election. Is there a motion?
Shall I make a motion? Set election date April 13, 2021, to joint election with Beresford School.
Second.
Motion by Schott and seconded to set the election date as April 13th, 2021. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Part-time employee wage scale.
Inside, you should actually the 2020 and then some full 2021 rates. All we're doing is trying to increase everything by the 15 cents, which would be the increase that the state gave, the minimum wage there. If you look at the pool attendant, I think that should read actually $9.45 all the way down, not $9.30 on there. So that would be reflective of what we did last year. The pool attendant, it didn't matter how many years of service they had, it was the same wage all the way down the scale, similar to what the server bartender is.
The other one, I think, was the land recycling. It was $11.20 at the top of the scale last year, now it's reading $10.45.
Is there a copy?
She transposed those from the grounds maintenance over to the recycling, it looks like to me. We will adjust those, it should be 10.35, 10.55, 10.75. We looked at them many times too, because we changed some other stuff too.
So, if approved, the recycling landfill will start at $10.35 and will adjust up 15 cents per 12-month period.
Can we get an updated chart on that before we do a motion and approve that?
Sure.
I know you just looked at me across, but
No, I didn't look at your cross. It's just because resolution 2021 has the new rates.
Do we need an updated one to consider it?
Did you just make those adjustments? I mean, is there just a few adjustments you're making?
Maybe 10.35, 10.50.
These would have the right. The resolution has the correct, because Tom Cotton and Christian Christopherson are the recycling and landfill
They're correct on the resolution.
on the resolution.
with the other scales that are, like the pool attendants and correct.
They can correct, they can bring those back. I think what they want to be able to do is have the part-time wages approved along with the other wages.
So what would the
So when
recycling
they're
landfill?
payroll,
What would the recycling landfill be?
10.35, 0 to 12, 12 to 24 is 10.55, 24 to 36 is 10.75, 36 to 48 is 10.95, 48 to 60 is 11.10, and 60 to 72 is 11.35. So if you can write those in, otherwise we can. I don't have the spreadsheet myself.
So the top of the recycling would be 11.35, and what's the other one that would be adjusted?
The pool attendant needs to be 9.45 all the way down, so.
You said 11.35 is the top, but we have Tom Cotton at 12.08.
He's been there longer.
Those are the ones that are grandfathered.
He's been the grandfather, yeah. You guys said wages that were lower than what we were already paying, so.
Is that the same with Brian Iverson?
Hmm?
Is that with Brian Iverson as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Been there long.
I just got one question on that pool. Does that mean the manager gets the same amount, or if I'll be voted higher? Who's running the pool this year?
We don't know yet.
Oh, but didn't we get more money, like 50 cents or $1 more an hour or something?
I think
You guys can decide that when you hire that person.
Okay, all right.
We don't have a set wage on that.
Greg will come to the council with that.
All right, I think it. So could we make a motion then for the part-time wage scale for 9.45? Or do we gotta make a motion?
You can make a motion if you want.
Is that what the motion is about, part-time employee wage scale?
Yes.
Do we have with a dollar amount?
No.
Okay, shall I make a motion for part-time employee wage scale as discussed by the mayor and Elaine?
Motion by Schott and seconded to approve the part-time wage scale as discussed. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-01, 2021 employee wages. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2021-01?
Shall I make a motion for resolution 2021-01, 2021 employee wages?
Is there a second?
Boone second.
Motion by Schott and seconded to approve resolution 2021-01, 2021 employee wages. Is there any further discussion? The question I had was the street and water, sewer, and part-time employees. Were those adjusted, or were those for Seaburn and Hubert
They stayed the same.
stayed the same? Any other questions?
Did we do anything on department heads or?
That's coming. There was no further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution approved. Pay request number 3, Irvine Cable. In the amount of, is it the 882 number?
It is $925,000.
925, 850, 72.
I can make a motion to pay request number 3 to Irvine Cable for $925,850.72.
Second.
Motion by Spagan and seconded to approve pay request number 3 for Irvine Cable in the amount of 925, 850, 72. Any further discussion?
This will be paid at the next council meeting. We just wanted to get approval first. The cut will be checked, or the check will be cut.
No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Request approved, accept retirement letter from Todd Hanson, effective March 19th, is that right?
Yeah.
So motion to accept.
Would move to accept Todd Hanson's resignation letter effective March 19, 2021.
I get a second.
Motion by Doug and seconded to accept the retirement letter from Todd Hanson. Any further discussion?
What if we refuse?
Oh,
Already tried.
I believe he's leaving as well.
I'm putting it on the agenda.
No, you cannot quit.
Can we start drafting like the next meeting, like get some stuff ready to recruit or have some discussion with the committee maybe to figure out what we're gonna do there?
I know Todd is super busy, but I think he's a great one to have input on the job description, what, getting that updated to what he really does right now.
We may even want to recruit before he's gone, because he has more knowledge about that than all of us probably combined, multiplied by 100. Okay. No further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Accepted. Memo of understanding with the IBEW.
I'll make a motion, memo of understanding by BBW between the city and the city workers. Can we read it?
Motion by Schott and seconded to accept the memo of understanding with IBEW. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Accepted. Discussional items, there's a list of the, cars said 40, but I thought there's 39 members.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got another one here recently or not, but I keep track of all these, 'cause, so. We had 42 at one time, we kind of in and out all the time, so I think we're at 39 right now, but we probably has another one pending, I'm guessing. We don't need it, we just have to list it, so we're not on a motion or anything, we just list it for our workers' comp. It's part of our deal that we had listed in there.
Looks like mileage rates are decreasing.
57.5 down to 56.
January 1.
I don't think we used hardly any last year, so.
Maybe the first 3 months, a little bit.
Is that a first where they actually decreased it?
They go up and
We'll
down.
go up and down.
Do they?
And then they do a half a penny.
Okay.
Yeah. Next item, or next is the holiday, January 19th council meeting. We need to approve that, but that's just.
No, it's already in your deal. Or in the ordinances.
Is there a motion for payment of the bills?
Bill moves, we pay the bills.
Second.
Motion by Doug and seconded, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Any further business for the council, meeting is adjourned.